Tonight on Podcast Them Down, we are ranking the rankers. And we're going to rank all over each other. Hail, Metal Nation! You are listening to Podcast Them Down, the metal podcast, the metalist podcast. There is none podcast more metal than Podcast Them Down. Anyway, it is I, Tim. I am joined by Matt and Doug. And today, we are eventually going to discuss tier community rankings on tiermaker.com. All right, so what
not
this
the
is?
band.
What?
It's not the band we're talking about.
T-I-E-R. Oh, I should have looked up the tier. Actually, let me interrupt myself and just stop all the momentum of the show because I do have an announcement. So I have to find my timpani. Do you know what the announcement is? We have a patron.
What?
They did not choose the tier, and if you don't know what we're talking about, you have to go back and listen to the Patreon episode.
Holy shit, we got to do a lot of work now.
Yeah, they signed up. This particular person signed up for the beta male and female
the beta
tier. So you need to. I believe you two were going to have memory beta Star Trek discussions for patrons of that tier. Well, guess what? Our first patron is at that tier, so we get to work.
God. Okay, Doug, I guess we're doing comic books. We should do something easy. We'll just do like
we got to start out with Dreadnought.
Dreadnought, yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll read Dreadnought tonight.
Tim, now that I know your address, you're going to be bombarded with paperbacks.
Shit. You could have just asked me my address, by the way. You make it sound like you got it through clandestine. How do you pronounce that word?
Hey, I think it would be more convenient if you just tell everyone your address here on the podcast.
Oh, well, my podcast is P.O. Box.
Oh.
What a great investment that P.O. Box is. Because first of all, I can say I'm from Savage, Maryland, because I have a Savage, Maryland address.
Holy shit, that's metal as fuck.
I know.
We are from Savage.
Actually, that's how Burning Shadows got initially contacted about one of the fest we did in Minnesota. Because the venue was in Savage, Minnesota.
So you have and Savage solidarity? Yeah,
well, the promoters saw that we were listed as being from Savage. I was like, it's only like a 16-hour drive. Yeah, we'll do it.
So, we're in.
And that trip was the first time I had Culver's.
Oh.
Which I believe shortened my life. But it was delicious. And then I had Culver's again when I went to Texas. So
I've never had Culver's. Maybe next time I'll.
Well,
I think it's a food, not a disease.
It's some kind of frozen custard, right?
So it is butter burgers and frozen custard.
That just sounds like someone's your enemy.
Yeah. So apparently that's a Wisconsin thing. Butter burger. They'll just put a slab of butter on your burger.
Butter burgers? That just sounds.
It sounds horrible, but it's pretty good. And then you have custard after that, and then you just crawl up into a ball and pray for death. So it's pretty metal.
Would you like some butter for your burger?
So we here at Podcast Them Down are an authority when it comes to passing judgment and ranking and scores to metal things. So the new hotness all the kids are doing is using this here tier maker. And so they'll if you go to tiermaker.com,
okay,
you can like upload a bunch of little images and make your stupid little tier lists.
Oh.
So it's like ranking. So you can see here, there's going to be a lot of referring to the the video.
So this is another like visual podcast episode.
Yeah, so just remember to describe them, please, for our listeners.
Okay.
So I pulled up the Iced Earth album tier list, and so there's a pool of tiers, and then you can go and fill out your own tier. But what we're looking at here is the community ranking. So everyone who filled out a tier, they kind of like averaged out everyone's tier rankings and created like a representative tier list for here. They have Iced Earth albums. So
and I
the red
think we
is
have to be clear.
The red is good ones, and then it goes down orange, yellow, green being the bad albums.
Okay. The bad album. Okay.
And I want to be clear, we're, from our objective perspective, only passing judgment on the systems that people have made, not the opinions of individuals.
Yes. And well, I'm glad you brought up our unilateral objectivity.
Yeah.
We're going to evaluate how accurate these are. Because we are your
Okay.
trusted source in terms of metal judgment and metal rankings.
So we're subjecting these subjective opinions to our onslaught of objectivity.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
You get a ding.
Okay.
All right. So let's dive right in. Like I said, I had the Iced Earth tier list. On your top tiers, so that's your S. They changed the names of all the tiers, but your S list here is Horror Show, Something Wicked This Way Comes, Burnt Offerings, The Dark Saga. Then your A is The Glorious Burden, Night of the Storm Rider. Your B is Dystopia and Incorruptible. And then below that, you have Iced Earth the Album and Framing Armageddon. Then below that, you have Plagues of Babylon and Crucible of Man. So, I think it is very obvious that this thing is all out of whack.
Yeah.
So, how about we go through each tier and decide what doesn't belong there?
Okay, that sounds fair.
All right, so I'll start. How on earth are you going to put Incorruptible and Plagues of Babylon and Dystopia on different tiers? They're pretty much the same album 3 times. They're all Stu Block albums. They're all the formula. So no matter what, they all need to be on the same tier. Okay? So I wanted to start there. Plagues of Babylon needs to be moved up to match the other 2 Stu Block albums. Number 1. That's number 1.
It's interesting because in some ways, Plagues of Babylon's my favorite of those records, but it's only got about 20 minutes worth of great songs, and then it's just pure filler. Like it'd be a classic EP, probably more like 25 minutes, which I'd almost, I'm just going to not address what you were talking about and move on to Burnt Offerings, which is like a better album than it's more than the sum of its parts, right? It's got one remarkable song, and then it's very heavy. It's probably their heaviest album in some ways. I don't even know why I think some of it even sounds kind of pseudo-industrial at points. And yet it only has one remarkable song. I almost view that and Plagues as parallel in that sense.
They also have stated repeatedly, and they meaning the person in witness relocation protection.
I think you mean U.S. person 1.
Yeah, whatever. Burnt Offerings is not beloved by the band because
interesting.
Yeah, they're like,
Why-
that one's no good. So I think we're seeing that at the top as like a response to that. They're like, no, it's great, but like it's got some decent songs on it, but it's only really great because of Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. That seems right.
So now, unequivocally, the best album, where every song is fantastic with one exception, is Horror Show, and it rightfully belongs to be up there. On the top
Something
tier,
Wicked
along with Something Wicked and The Dark Saga. And those three were released in order. Like, it was Dark Saga, Something Wicked, Horror Show. Those consecutive albums.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that Burnt Offering should be knocked down, but I also think Night of the Storm Riders should be up there too. It's different.
Agree.
It's more surgical, but it's a concept album. It's all classics. Like, they've played all of those songs, with the exception of Mystical End, I believe, constantly, throughout their career.
Tim, I think brings us to the most defective part of this list.
Well, just throwaway comment real quick. Iced Earth, the album, I know why it's down there. Some people just can't get over the vocals. That's why it's down there. I think you could listen to the Days of Purgatory. Like, if the Days of Purgatory re-recordings with Matt Barlow were released as the first album, it would be much higher. All right, so I'm going to leave it to you to address the elephant on this tier list.
I'm not sure if... I don't know how these lists work. Maybe people were just clicking on the wrong cover by accident, and they... But maybe it's the American flag. People just, feel this need to be patriotic. But what is the Glorious Burden doing here?
Well, another quizzical thing that I kind of want to bring out is I'm not sure how quite the tier maker works, but it seems to be kind of in Portuguese.
Oh yeah,
at least this amalgamated one.
This one is.
But I'm looking at the sort of other ones that are creating this, and
yeah,
so like.
Yeah, I can scroll down. You're seeing like perfect, awesome, nice, not entertained.
But maybe for our Brazilian friend, the Glorious Burden is like a, it's like listening to a song about the Silmarillion or something.
Well, this top one is based on everyone else's tiers,
right? But if you look, like the Portuguese guy...
Yeah, but it grabbed the Portuguese one. The
Portuguese guy
titles.
put it... I mean, this one dude who's clearly questionable put the... several people actually put the Glorious Burden in their top tier.
Well, you know what we call those people? Wrong.
Well, yeah, and they may have just clicked on it by accident. And we're not going after opinions here. They're not of individuals, only the aggregate outcomes of those opinions. But
true.
I do want to call out, I do want to elevate user Neo Incho Sako, who would pretty much hit everything spot on. We're within one tier here, including putting the Glorious Burden probably in the right place.
Which one is that on here?
Which one is that?
I guess you got to click on the names, but the guy with the picture, the anime picture.
Oh, that's
my monitor is set up vertical, so I don't know where.
Let's see.
There's some gutsy choices here, including I guess he likes low end in his music, which is why what's that album, Tim? You'd think I could click on it probably.
Oh, don't click on it. You just end up in all kinds of weird.
Oh my! The first Something Wicked album. What's that called?
Oh, Framing Armageddon.
Yeah, because he ranks the second one higher,
which I think is odd. Because
the
the second one is so unsatisfying because it was built up for a decade about he's finally gonna do the story. He's finally gonna do the whole Something Wicked story. And then the first album with Ripper, by the way, in my opinion, this is not our objective fact, but in my opinion, that is the best album Ripper has ever performed on. And that is inclusive of KK's Priest. So, the Framing Armageddon sets everything up so well, and then Crucible of Man just kind of goes, and some shit happens, or maybe it won't. Yeah. And then that's the end until Incorruptible or Plagues of Babylon. I think Plagues of Babylon builds on the story, but it was the Crucible of Man was supposed to be the end of the story. And if you listen to Come What May, which is a good song, it's just kind of whatever happens, happens. It's no, this is not a good payoff. So anyway, and way more filler on Crucible of Man than Framing.
And they sound completely different.
Totally different. And it's not just the vocals.
Yeah, one has a low end, Framing markedly doesn't.
Right, yep. So, I think we could make our official tier for Podcast Them Down, but I'm going to leave that as an exercise for the listener.
Yeah. I'm also still puzzled by all these Portuguese words. So okay, so I've done some rough translating here. I'm using Now Encho Osacho as our guide. So Pica Dimas, Pica Gemias, Pica James, maybe, whatever that is in Portuguese is peak dick or too much dick.
Must be a cultural thing.
I want to hang out with that guy because that's funny.
Muito bom is pretty good, and then nice. Rui, I think is just I can't really find a good translation for it, but it's maybe Lee, just get rid of it. But his, we were noting that he had the Glorious Burden in the last tier, and it's called Perda de Tempo, which is a waste of time.
Oh, that's good. I like that. All right. I think that about wraps it up for the Iced Earth one. You ready to move on?
Okay. Oh, there's more. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, not that one. All right. Yeah, I pulled up a lot of bands. All right. And it's all our usual suspects. For those who want to read ahead. It's bands we talk about quite a lot. With Iced Earth being the exception. We don't talk about them too much because of issues.
Well, it's not Iced Earth Timber yet, so.
All right. Next up, Metallica. All right, so you see here, they have more tiers. They have S, which is super awesome, and then A, B, C, D, E, F. This one is all out of whack.
This is really weird.
All right, so if you're looking at the tiers, and I believe you can, our YouTube people can see this too. This bottom left one, I don't know what the fuck that is, and I'm in a Metallica tribute, Fade to Black.
What is that?
What is that? I don't know exactly what the one next to it is. That's clearly Garage Days, which for some reason is on the bottom tier because what the fuck? And then next to that is another one I don't know. All the rest I can tell you what they are. So I don't know what is going on with this F tier nonsense. So
okay, so reading the name of the tier list, it says studio albums, live albums,
Careful
and
now.
singles. Sorry. So could it be a single?
No, the only single on here. Okay, the I Disappear in the E tier. We should enumerate everything real quick. But I Disappear is a single. So I don't think these others are singles. I think they're probably live shows. But less official live shows. All right, so from bottom to top, F tier is One We Don't Know number 1, One We Don't Know number 2, Garage Days Revisited, One We Don't Know number 3. E tier is Live Shit, Binge and Purge, Mexico City, then Through the Never, then S&M 2, Lulu, I Disappear, the what's this called? Beyond Magnetic EP, which was like songs that weren't good enough to be on Death Magnetic. And then the Live in Seattle show from Binge and Purge. Live shit. So that was from 89. And then on the D tier is S&M 1, Saint Anger. C tier is Garage Inc. B tier is Death Magnetic, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, Load and Reload. A tier is the Black Album, and S tier is Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, Justice, and Kill 'Em All. Okay. So where do you want to start at the bottom or the top?
Well, okay, I have some. I've blown up my screen to ridiculous proportions, and I can tell you. Okay, the purpley looking one in the F tier says Metallica, Helping Hands, live and acoustic at the Masonic.
An acoustic show. Yeah.
Okay.
That has the best version of a Saint Anger song. They did All Within My Hands acoustically, and they basically rewrote it, and it's really good.
How many minutes do they cut out?
Several. They also changed all the guitar parts.
Okay, so the next one is Blackened 2020.
That was the pandemic thing they did. Like, every band released here's us jamming at home. They did the same thing. That's what that is.
Then that's the original Binge and live shit, right? Next to it.
No, that's Garage Days.
Garage Days. Sorry, that's Garage Days. Okay, then the last one, I have no idea what it is. It's a figure of like a skeleton man and like a weird fantasy landscape. It's purple. And I can't quite get a good image
Maybe
of
it's one of those only in Portugal releases.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't think this is a Portuguese site. Maybe just Portuguese people are just super bored.
They're really metal.
All right, well, let's start there. What the fuck is Garage Days doing down there? Garage Days should be up at like A.
Is it because you can get pretty much everything in Garage Days Revisited?
In Garage Inc.?
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to my next point. Garage Inc. is too... is it? I was gonna say it's too low, but there's some misses on that one. I don't like Discharge, and they cover 2 Discharge songs on that. But they also cover Motorhead, and they have all the B-sides. The
one with the weight.
Yeah. They also have Stone Cold Crazy and So What. I think the second disc negates the first disc. So I would put both Garage Days and Garage Inc. up at A tier because that's where they belong.
Okay.
Okay. So then going back to the E tier, I'm gonna go ahead and say whoever put Mexico City from Live Shit and Seattle from Live Shit down there hasn't actually listened to them. Because they are the epitome. They are both the epitome of live Metallica performance. Everyone who comes to see Fade to Black wants those shows. They don't want now Metallica, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
They want coked up 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like, like before shows, I try to practice along to the Seattle show because they are playing so fucking fast and they're doing everything right. And it's may or may not because of all the stimulants. So those two also belong up at A.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I buy that. Now let's talk Through the Never.
Yes. Oh, that's a great place to go next. So, Matt, I think you came over and we watched that when I got it, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, we definitely did.
Was that when at our house or was it after?
Think no. Wait, did we see that in the theater?
We might have.
I think we saw it in the theater.
I remember about it is Metallica has too much money, but that doesn't say anything about the performance of the songs.
I mean, I actually like the performances on that motion picture soundtrack. I don't know what you call it.
I just thought it was weird that they'd like interrupt halfway through the song to go outside.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's the apocalypse. whatever the hell was going on outside.
I couldn't even tell you what the plot of that. It's like, I guess zombies love. No, wait. The mob hates Metallica, but the kid loves. It was very strange. I couldn't really.
Sounds more like a man. Could have been more of a man of war.
$30 million, so we do the most expensive theatrically released musical.
Oh, you got to watch the DVD extras.
Because they're amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic because they for some reason filmed all the board meetings when they talked finances.
Oh my god!
And I really believe that Kirk Hammett only uses that white zombie guitar because he knows most of the fans think it's going to have to do with the band, and then he can point out that they're wrong.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, so, in light of all that, I don't know if it belongs at E, but I don't know how much higher it needs to go.
Yeah. Maybe a D. I think it's a D.
Alright, so then, next would be S&M 2, which is on the E tier, and it was very, very good. Probably not as good as S&M 1, which is oddly at the D tier. So, like, what the hell is going on with these people in S&M? Both of those should be higher.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually think the arrangements from kind of like an orchestral music point of view, I feel like the arrangements and recording in S&M 2 is much better than S&M 1. I think S&M 1 kind of has this novelty factor in a lot of people because, it's 20 years younger or 20 years older.
I think that
you're right.
kicked off the symphonic metal thing because, like, that was around the same time that, like, Nightwish started, but then, like, 10 years later, they started doing full orchestral scores, and then 5 years after S&M 1, Dimmu Borgir did full orchestral intros and stuff like that,
Well, what year is the original S&M? Because I know
99.
the Scorpions. Okay, so the Scorpions had an album with the Berlin Philharmonic, which was the greatest moment of the Scorpions and the lowest moment of the Berlin Philharmonic in 2000. I think they get credit for that.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to think if
they did this
if we step outside
after Pink Floyd, right? I'm sorry to.
Yeah, no, that's
actually,
where
no,
I was
I'm not
going.
sorry. Fuck you.
Yeah, don't apologize.
Sorry. Shit.
Holy shit!
That's how many.
Well, let Doug talk.
How many prog bands played with orchestras in the 70s and 80s?
Oh, that's a good point. Good. Well, I know. Didn't Michael Kamen write something for Pink Floyd before doing Metallica? Was that Pink Floyd he did something with? Or Queen or something? No.
Queen.
I think Queen was unavailable at that time. I don't know.
So let's look at this just to fuck up your flow. let's go from the top to bottom here, because I think we could solve most of our problems if we just compress some of these top cues a bit.
As usual, Doug has the right idea.
All right.
So the Black Album, it made a shit ton of money. It's a stone cold classic. It belongs with the first 4 records, hands down. Okay, so now those are the A.
Wait, I do have this is not an objective fact, but I think Kill 'Em All needs to be knocked down one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my opinion, but I'm stating that so that your objectivity can reign.
Now that's because we're going into ranking versus objective criteria and what falls in a rank. Kill 'Em All is weaker, but less refined. It's definitely not as good as Lightning and Master, but classic record nonetheless.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Like for example, I think something in the top tier should be something that is essential. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I could see that being essential. So yeah, there's 5 there should be 5 albums in the top tier.
And I think it's true. Those are the 5 essential Metallica albums. If you have those 5 albums, you can be a Metallica fan.
And that's a damn good hit rate for how many studio records did they put out, Tim? I could count, but you know.
I could count. So there were 5, then 6, then 7, and then
8,
then
10.
8.
Yeah, that's an outstanding hit rate. Yeah,
that's
that's full albums of original music.
That's a one hot album every 5 years average.
Well, then
that's a Jay-Z line.
Then we're due.
Yeah.
Well, the tyranny of math. Yeah. Any day now.
All right, so we have cleaned out
the B tier is interesting, right? Yeah. So now we're looking at B, but if we move all those up, at least 2 to 3 of those records don't belong.
Right.
Yeah, so I would say Reload slightly weaker than Load, but different tier weaker. I don't know. Hardwired has some good songs, but it kind of has the back half of the record too, which is like
yeah.
Death Magnetic, all the knocks there are probably the songs go on too long, and Fear is a 4-letter word that's never spoken here still sounds dumb to me. So I would push Load and perhaps Reload up and leave Hardwired and Death Magnetic right where they are. And then there's more room for for like Garage Days and all the live stuff to come up to A and B as well.
So here's my counter proposal. If we can think of Load and Reload and Death Magnetic and Hardwired as sort of twinned, right? They're the second and third reinventions of Metallica, ignoring State Anger. So in this case, I would put Death Magnetic and Load up at the A, and their lesser counterparts at the B.
Interesting. I guess it falls into where those divisions lie then.
I mean, because your point would be, and I think I agree, that the late 90s Metallica is better than the late 2000s, early 2010s Metallica. So I guess the question is, how relative are these tiers? I don't know.
Well, let's say you had to put something in C now. Wait, did you move stuff to A? Is that what you did? Yeah,
well, I think
what you did.
I think A is empty. I think we filled out S, whatever S is, the top tier.
Yeah, it's like super.
Currently, A is empty. I'd be fine with the Load Reload at A and Death Hardwired at B.
Okay,
Yeah,
so then you have to put something in C. What would you put in C? Because I have an answer.
The Lesser Live stuff.
Lesser, so that's probably all the unknown stuff we don't know.
Yeah.
Because I again insist that Mexico City and Seattle need to be up at A.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Through the Never should be down there. Original S&M A or B. S&M 2 A or B as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leaves for C, I would put I Disappear there. Because that is a C level song. That's what it is. It's a good song. It's not terrible. It's right in the middle.
It's not great, yeah.
It's like the exact middle of Metallica.
And I don't think I've ever heard Remagnetized or whatever the hell it is.
It's Beyond Magnetic. So it's songs that weren't good enough to be on Death Magnetic. That's probably a D.
Mm-hmm. That's like a B-sides album, kind of.
It was like stuff they wrote and finished, and they're like, so I'd put that there.
Okay.
Controversial opinion, I'd also put Saint Anger there. The reason is, if you remember back to our Saint Anger episode, we highlighted how polarized the answers are, so you got to put it in the middle.
Yeah, no, it doesn't belong. And I think D is about right for Saint Anger. I think that's probably the one album correctly placed.
And we called out the hypocrisy of all those people kicking Saint Anger now who loved it 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bad album. All right, so then I think the last piece we got to clean up is Lulu, which is literally unlistenable. Like, it's so bad. That's a G tier. That needs to fall off this list and not
it's a
be
different
mentioned.
Band.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's a Lou Reed album.
Yeah, exactly.
It does not say Metallica on there. Okay, so I think we got that one pretty much figured out.
All right, Tim, if we want to do a real shit show, let's do Iron Maiden.
Oh, did I pull that one up?
Oh,
that's the only one. Oh, okay, yeah.
Sabbath is good too. Let's do Maiden first, though.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Iron Maiden tier list.
All right. Oh, these have better names. These have better names. Masterpiece. Great album. Good. There is better. And meh. And I'm going to need help with some of these.
I can see a couple of problems with Masterpiece here.
Yeah, like how there's more than two of them.
Yeah, and I again, maybe they thought they were clicking on Killers when they hit whatever that is, a Piece of Mind. Maybe they thought they were clicking on Seventh Son when they clicked on Brave New World.
All right, well, let's go through the Masterpiece level.
Yeah.
The Masterpiece level, according to the community rankings on tiermaker.com, are Power Slave, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, The Number of the Beast, Somewhere in Time, Brave New World, and Peace of Mind. Then great album is the two Diano albums, Killers and Iron Maiden. And then, good is Senjutsu, which is the new one. I'm moving closer so I can see. Book of Souls, which was the new one before Senjutsu. And then A Matter of Life and Death, Dance of Death, Fear of the Dark. I'm happy to. I would if I had to bet money before we looked at this, I would have put money down that Fear of the Dark would have been higher. But luckily, I think Maiden fans aren't totally off base and don't like the album rightfully. Anyway, although
we'll
good is a bit good is a bit generous.
We'll talk about this.
The next one down is, I believe, The Final Frontier.
Yep.
And that's in the There's Better. And then Meh, what the hell is that one? That's got to be one of the Blaze Bayley ones, right?
Yeah, that's the X Factor, No Prayer, and then Virtual 8 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's either Virtual 9 or 11. It's XI or IX. I never remember because I don't listen to it. So,
trying to blow this up here.
So there you go.
Virtual 11.
I think basically stuff just needs to be moved down in general, you know?
Yeah, all right. So it's Power Slave, Seventh Son.
Number of the Beast.
Number of the Beast.
Somewhere in Time, Brave New World, Peace of Mind.
Oh, I was doing a list.
Oh.
Power Slave, Seventh Son.
Of the masterpieces?
Yeah, I almost want to stop there, but is that, well, if we're going with the masterpiece label, it's those two. If this was it might be a little longer.
I don't know. Number of the Beast is probably, well, there's filler. There's a couple,
and that's the thing with Maiden. There's at least there's your Back in the Village. There's at least 2 Back in the Villages on every record. Peace of Mind is mostly that.
So Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Again, opinion time. This is your opinion warning. Way overrated album. Way overrated, but objective hat on because we are objective.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people would say that is a masterpiece.
I think relative to Iron Maiden, Power Slave, I think, certainly belongs in masterpiece. Seventh Son,
it's not as cohesive as people claim it is.
Right, but it if we're using the similar criteria, like I feel like if you've listened to Power Slave and Seventh Son, you know what Iron Maiden's about, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you really need to listen to more?
So if we're using the essential label here, Power Slave, Seventh Son, Number of the Beast. I love Somewhere in Time, very underrated, but that is definitely not, that's your B tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great album.
Yeah.
As well as
let's
Peace
get to
of Mind.
Brave New World. Peace of Mind, it's got, watch Matt's, it's got Quest for Fire.
Yeah.
Be sure you listen to the Quest for Fire episode.
This is controversial with you, Tim, but I think Killers has got to be in the essential tier.
Oh, that's too high for that. All right, Break Our Tie. Is Killers up there or no?
I don't. I'm putting it up. I'm putting it up there only for getting a full sense of like the breadth of the band, right?
Oh, that would be Bruce Dickinson.
Because it's a different sound.
It's a very different sound. It's a very different concept. We'll put what? Yeah, I think Killers.
And if I recall, Tim didn't like the punk kids and their zip up Killers hoodies. Was his
that's the problem. That's a personal bias, which we don't stand for here on Podcast.
But they got a song about Genghis Khan on there. Which I assume which I assume is about the John Wayne movie. So how can that be?
Coming soon to a Historian Ruins Your Favorite Song episode podcast near you.
All right, so let's talk about all these post Return of Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, great. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, so
are any of them essential?
I think, no. I would say no. And they steadily declined in quality. So Brave New World should be great album at best. And then Matter of Life and Death and Dance of Death, in my opinion, and objective fact, should be good. And then Book of Souls and Shenjutsu should be There's Better or Meh.
It's interesting because I would say I think Brave New World's a little overrated, but I have to give it to you in Influence. I mean, how many bands could come back and release an album that many kids think is great.
And the Final Frontier. Sorry, the Final Frontier. But yeah.
But I really think that A Matter of Life and Death is as good or better, and even eventually the Final Frontier. That's the closest thing they put out to a metal record.
So I think what you should do is scoop it up like peanut butter and spread it across. Just
okay,
like that,
okay.
Just in order.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
Book of Souls has some really good songs. It's just they needed to release one record and not what they released.
Yep.
Yeah, very true.
All right, so to round this out, okay, should No Prayer for the Dying be meh? Is that what that is?
It is meh.
It should be at the same level of Fear of the Dark.
I agree, and that should be at There's Better.
Okay, so
but I see it being where it is because people mistakenly like that album.
Well, actually,
they like one song.
Why it's there. Here's why it's there. Looking through the tier list that composed this community ranking, Fear of the Dark is either very high or very low, so it's just reached the arithmetic mean of middling.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what I speculated, and that was the whole point of our review battle episode. Yeah. So it all works. So if you question our objectivity, I would direct you to those two facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. When we go astray, we're right.
Yep.
So, but does it actually belong there? Or should more weight be given to the people who are correct and put it lower?
I'm going to disagree with my review. And
well, you were assigned that review,
and I stand by it. It's a lot different, and that's good.
All right.
And you know what? I'm actually going to put at least the X Factor.
Yeah, I was gonna
D
ask.
Tier.
Yeah, so Blaze should move up at least one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Virtual IX has the or whatever it is, Virtual 11 has like a couple of really good Formula Maiden songs in the way that they don't write anymore. Like When Two Worlds Collide. Then it has The Angel and the Gambler, which I don't know, it's still better than Wasting Love.
which you also specifically called out on the review battle.
It's different. And Bruce Dickinson needs to be commended for that vocal style.
Which I like the one that's like the Spanish song, like We're Friends or whatever.
Oh, that's a good that's about the coming to terms with the Falklands War with Argentina.
Oh shit.
Oh, now you like it. Is it really like Somos Amigos?
It's called Como Estés Amigos.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up the Iron Maiden one. Let me look at the big clock on the wall.
So what's our order?
Oh, well, Shinjitsu should be at the bottom.
Yep.
is meh. We're going to move one of the Blaze ones up to There's Better. We're going to smear all the post Brave New World ones including Brave New World, from great album down to meh. And then that just leaves Fear of the Dark, which we all said makes sense where it is, but could possibly slide down one. And then we kicked out a bunch of masterpieces down to great album. I think that's pretty good.
I think that seems fair.
Yeah, let's leave it.
All right.
Not that objectivity is fair, but it's both objective and fair.
Mm-hmm.
We probably have time for one more. Do you want to do Sabbath, Priest, Manowar, or Megadeth?
Oh.
I vote Sabbath and Megadeth.
All right. Yeah, that's two. Two for the counting impaired. All right. Let's
start with Sabbath.
Let's do Sabbath. All right. I see problems already. All right. So Let's see. On the S tier, we got Paranoid, Master of Reality, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Black Sabbath, and Volume 4. And then on the A tier, we have Sabotage, Heaven and Hell, and The Mob Rules. And then B tier, we have nothing. And C tier, we have almost everything.
Wait. How can you have... That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, they're grading on a curve, perhaps.
Okay.
I don't know some of these that are on the C tier. I'm seeing Headless Cross. Is that what that is? I'm seeing
it's
13.
Never Say Die. Technical Ecstasy. That's the second Dio one. Excellent record. The computer one. Headless Cross. 13. Born Again. Tier.
Yeah, that one.
Well, first of all, that should be in a tier of its own.
Well, we should close with the tier.
It's the Eternal Idol, whatever. And then that last one is actually a Tony Iommi solo record released as Black Sabbath.
He kind of looks like Oates from Hall & Oates.
I thought Holland Oates was one guy. His name is Holland. No, and then what's on the D tier? I know Heaven and Hell, when Dio came back, that's there. And there's two others.
So the first one's Cross Purposes, which is Tony Martin, but the rest of Black Sabbath. It's kind of an interesting record. And then that last one's the last Tony Martin record, produced by Ernie C. of Body Count.
Nice.
It's not as bad
as of recording, still not on Metal Archives.
Mm-hmm. Metal Archives.
All right, so clearly everyone has a hard-on for Ozzy.
Yeah.
And they're wrong. There are great songs on Master of Reality, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and Volume 4, but all of those need to be pushed down. They also don't, there's people out there clearly who don't like Dio, and that's why some of the better Dio albums, Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell, landed at A when they shouldn't have. Well, I bet those people were aiming for S. Okay, so should Heaven and Hell be S? I don't know. Should Mob Rules be S? They're not as impactful as perhaps Black Sabbath and Paranoid, which deserve to be there. They more or less invented heavy metal,
For metal people, they are, though. If you
say more.
Well, I mean, Black Sabbath is influential to a lot of genres, including Korn, all that stuff. Respect to them, but the stoner thing and the half tempo and that style of riffing goes into alternative metal and even alternative music. When the Dio Sabbath records a little more up tempo. They really continue that with Tony Martin stuff, and it's very influential on, I would argue, power metal.
Yes, they'll probably deny that.
So to me, Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules are A tier. The 92 Dio one, the one with the cartoonish cover, is at least at the same level as the lesser early Ozzy stuff. So whatever we're putting that at, B.
Yeah, the return of Ozzy stuff. Isn't that what 13 is?
Yeah, that's
that should be down there. Right.
Cross Purposes. Well, I like Tony Martin stuff. That's your C tier stuff. That's good. Headless Cross, The Eternal Idol, even Tier are good records. Born Again has shitty songs like Digital Bitch.
And that was late 90s, I'm sure.
No, that was, so they had Dio, and then the first album they did without Dio was with I think Ian Gilliam. Well, that's the one with the hideous cover.
I was thinking Judas Priest they're like, we have to be modern. The song's about AOL.
Well, that's what Sabbath did on Forbidden, where the first track has Ice-T, but not understanding contemporary music. Ice-T was, in fact, not very modern.
Yeah, because it's 1995.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if we got that Ice-T character?
So the Heaven and Hell album, its name
it's better than that.
Yeah, it's way better than D.
Yeah.
It's not an A album though. So it's somewhere in the middle, B or C.
It's on the same tier as the good Tony Martin stuff.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, we blasted through that one.
I mean, I would also like to say that album artwork peaked in a time band between 1976 and 1986. And I think the Black Sabbath tier list is an excellent illustration of that.
It is. All right.
And well, for Never Say Die and Technical Ecstasy, I haven't listened to those in 15 years, but they may be in D tier.
The fact that you that you haven't listened to them maybe kind of proves that. All right, what was the other one we were doing? Priest.
You want to do Priest or Megadeth?
Well, Megadeth.
The Priest one's interesting. Well, so perhaps we'll do another episode where we can go through Priest and Manowar and write to us, comment, email, whatever. Tell us what other ones we need to look at, especially if they're wrong. Okay, Megadeth. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think we're gonna change this one to least. That's my prediction.
Interesting.
So on the S tier, you have Rust in Peace, and Peace sells, but who's buying? And then A, you have Countdown to Extinction, Killing is My Business, and Business is Good. Euthanasia, So Far So Good So What? And what's that one? Dystopia? Yeah, Dystopia.
Yeah.
And on the B tier, you have, is that Endgame? And then
Endgame, System Has Failed.
System Has Failed, United Abominations, Cryptic Writings. Oh, you're going to have to help me with C.
World Needs a Hero.
And then
that one
13.
Yeah.
So yes, Megadeth also had an album called 13. And I think so did Anvil, by the way. All right. And then on the bottom, what the hell is that? And
I think that's Risk and Hyper Collider.
Super Collider.
A Super Collider, yeah.
That's definitely Risk and Super Collider there.
And you got to give Dave Mustaine credit. He can't stop trying to sell out. Like,
well, that's all Risk is. That's why he called it Risk.
And Super Collider, yeah. Because they went metal, they got all this acclaim, United Abominations was okay, Endgame's great, and then what do? They released 13 and Super Collider.
We should also point out, however, that the Megadeth 13 predates the Black Sabbath 13.
Can you look up the Anvil 13 too?
Anvil 13.
I would suspect in each case it's their 13th studio record.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I'm sure, but this is 13. Oh, ooh. This is really close. Anvil's This Is 13 predates 13. Megadeth by 4 years.
Yeah, but no one listens to Anvil. Which was the whole point of the documentary. Also, they have Megadeth has Dystopia, which is the name of an Iced Earth album that came out before that, and they shared a bassist at one point. So Jimmy McDonough, who, as far as I can tell, quit touring and music and just has a desk job now.
So
Jimmy, if you're listening, and I got that wrong, go ahead and write us. I've met him. He's extremely nice. But that was 21 years ago.
And we'll make you an automatic patron if you endorse Podcast Them Down.
I'm sorry, I'm mathed wrong. That was 19 years ago. Okay.
Okay, all right. So I do want to say, I want to go out on a limb and say any Megadeth album that follows the classic Megadeth album format of phrase, ... other phrase should never be below B.
Below. Okay, yeah. So I'm looking here.
Well, all right. So if we do what Dave Mustaine would want, which would be to frame this as the same way as Metallica, Countdown is a commercial record, but it's as influential as Peace and what's the other one? The two great ones.
Rust.
Yeah. And Killing Is My Business, I haven't heard in a while, but is definitely kind of at the same level as Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they need to move, though. Maybe I would accept Countdown moving up. I would not accept Euthanasia moving up.
No.
Euthanasia is somewhere between, if it were Metallica, it's somewhere between Load and Black Album. Right.
Yeah.
And then So Far So Good So What, lots of people pretend they like it more than they do. It's fine at A. I don't know what Dystopia is doing there.
No.
Yeah, Endgame was a much better record.
Yeah,
if you want new Metallica or Megadeth.
So I think we should just kick that down below Endgame and put it at C where it belongs.
Yep.
And then, yeah, Risk. If I may jump to the bottom real quick, Risk is terrible and belongs at D. Cryptic Writings at B. That's like one of those hit and miss records.
Yeah.
You know, it had She-Wolf, which is fantastic. Right, but it also had a bunch of other stuff. So B's probably good, maybe C. And then The System Has Failed is the last good one. In my opinion. That's an opinion.
I think it's a little overrated. I think Endgame has better songs. Is it Endgame that has the song about how God loves you, whether you want him to or not? That was a good one.
Is Endgame the one where they re-recorded A Tout Le Monde for no reason?
I think that was United. Oh, when I say Endgame, I meant United Abominations.
Okay.
Well,
I actually think Endgame's in the B tier. It's the same with Euthanasia. I honestly think it's that good. Wow. It's got that song about the shootout in Los Angeles and some good instrumentals. And
I thought that was Sublime. Sublime has a song about the LA riots. That's the joke.
I liked it. I liked it. Yeah.
But yeah, The System Has Failed is definitely better than The World Needs a Hero or anything below it. So let's leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Endgame moves down. Does anything move up?
Dystopia moves down, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Dystopia moves down. I think otherwise this might already be.
Did you know Dystopia is the band's second highest charting album in the US after Countdown to Extinction.
Well, when you release your record in 2016, that's what happens.
Yeah. I guess I guess that says a lot more about the charts than anything else.
All right, so
you sold 8 records. Congratulations.
They didn't put the Duke Nukem soundtrack on here.
Yeah, which is a big loss.
All right,
better than Super Collider.
Yes, that one was. That one was. Oh shit! That one was generally accurate. Do you want to end with the tier? The tiers.
Oh shit!
Good.
Perfectly tiered.
Yeah, there we go.
I already like it. It's very easy on the eyes. All right, so and it's confusing. So this will be our last one. We're doing the tier. If you yourself want to become a tier member of our Patreon, then there's a link in the description.
Oh, yeah.
And you can join us and you'll get access to the memory beta stuff that they're going to record.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely going to happen.
Well, you have to, because someone's paying for it now.
Yeah, I said it's definitely going to happen. Sorry if it sounded sarcastic.
All right, so on the tier list, we have...
this is the product of one person, which may explain some things.
Yeah, so that only one person has done it, as you point out. So the community rank is this guy's opinion. So he's got Eric the Red, By the Light of the Northern Star.
Yep.
How Far to Asgard. Shit, what's that one?
The blue one.
The Lay of Thrym? No, it's not. We'll come back to that one. Land, then the Lay of Thrym on B, and then on C, there's Ragnarok and Valkyria. Oh, what's that one? Shit, I should know this. Anyone? Hang on, I got it. I'm gonna type in tier discography.
Is it Hell?
Hell, that's the one. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's Hell.
With one L.
Yeah, Hell.
Okay, so with tier albums, you can kind of group them by sound. Mm-hmm. So this list is very confusing because Eric the Red and Land have similar sounds, but he put Eric the Red at S and Land at B. How Far to Asgard is accurately the link, like somewhere between them. Well, it's more like Eric the Red is the link between How Far to Asgard. So, and then the Lay of Thrym and By the Light of the Northern Star and Hell pretty much sound the same. And then Valkyria kind of like goes on a little bit further. And then Ragnarok just kind of stands on its own.
Mm-hmm.
It's a concept album. It's a lot weirder than all of the others. So really, this should be How Far to Asgard down towards the bottom, but not a D. Should be a C. Ragnarok should be a B. Eric the Red should has a lot of classic songs, but it also has like the other side of the album type problem. So that's gonna also be a B. And then I already did Land. The Lay of Thrym, probably a B. By the Light of the Northern Star, an A. Hell is a B. Valkyria is an A. So out of that, you need some S's. So we're going to bump By the Light of the Northern Star up to S. Valkyria up to S. There's your tier. There's your completely accurate one.
And so it's really interesting you're mentioning how, Eric the Red and Land were both kind of similar sounds, and yet the placement was so different. Weirdly, not all of this ranking matches the reviews on Metal Archives, but in this case, Land both have 10 reviews. Eric the Red has a 95, Land has a 76. So again, I think this just shows how objective our tier system for tier is.
Mm-hmm.
It brings me to tears.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up,
any closing words?
Tune in next time we do this when we rank the tiers for Fears.
That's good. Now it's the awkward silence where I'm not sure if I should be hitting the button yet. Because usually I wait too long and then someone starts to say something and then they have to stop. All right. So until next time, Metal Nation, keep it categorized into tiers.
Hey, you want a tier maker? You should be my ex-wife.
Hey.